At a time where the United States is launching another round of strikes with Iran, check out what our Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth, is busy focusing on.
I'm authorizing a new screening program for testosterone deficiency because it's well-established science that as we age, testosterone levels often naturally drop. This initiative, it's not about artificial enhancement. It's about restoring and optimizing your natural capabilities, protecting your longevity, and ensuring you have the biological foundation required to sustain the fight.
That's not AI. You heard that correctly. You would think most defense secretaries, if they were in the middle of a war, they'd maybe be focused on, I don't know, the war, strategy, intelligence. But Hegseth is seemingly fighting a different battle. U.S. troops' hormone levels, testosterone. He's now taking his obsession with making the military macho to a whole new level. The new program is already sparking controversy. You won't be surprised to hear. The goal is to test testosterone levels in all service members age 30 and older, including women, on an annual basis. And if said service members were to exhibit low testosterone levels, they would be offered the opportunity for testosterone replacement therapy, commonly known as T. In the context of hormone therapy, T is either prescribed as a foundational medication for gender-affirming care or to treat clinically low testosterone in men. If I'm not mistaken, not long ago, one of the central arguments behind banning transgender service members was opposition to hormone-related medical care. The ban on trans military members, by the way, was set to end this week, but the Trump administration appealed to extend it. But it's not just that. Medical experts are also concerned about the legitimacy of this initiative. Physicians, researchers, they've all called the effort misguided. They're pointing out that testosterone levels naturally vary and that variation alone doesn't determine strength or readiness or performance. And here's what Vox said, quote, "It's another example of the performative masculinity that has defined Hegseth's time atop the U.S. military. He has sought to rebrand the Department of Defense as the Department of War, preached a warrior ethos, rolled back DEI initiatives while blocking promotions for women, and taken an unusual interest in the beard grooming standards of service members." With me to discuss the implications of it all is Kyleanne Hunter, a Marine Corps veteran and CEO of Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Oh, goodness gracious. What was your reaction when you heard about this quote, high T initiative in the middle of the war in Iran?
So when I first saw the video, I think like you, I had a moment of, is this real? Because it wasn't exactly what we would be expecting, especially right now from the secretary. And I want to start by the fact that we know that hormone health is very, very important. That is true. And we also know that the stress of the type of physical training that is required for the military, some of the emotional and mental stress can impact hormone levels. And so from a broad perspective, being concerned about hormone health is important. But this particular initiative, the way it's written out, raises some deep concerns. One, the fact that they're only screening for testosterone. Testosterone is one of a multitude of hormones that is essential for human performance. And focusing in on the one may have severe medical consequences that we don't know about right now, right? That maybe symptoms are fine for a 31, 32-year-old, but what's going to be the long-term implications, and is the VA prepared to handle that, right? What we have. Number two is how, again, this impacts women from both a medical perspective and a normative perspective. Yes, testosterone is part of a woman's hormone regime as well, but particularly as women age, their hormone changes and hormone needs are very, very different than men. But most importantly, my concern is how this was framed, the high T Department of War. There is no medical evidence that quote unquote high T makes one better at physical performance. And there is definitely no evidence that specifically relates high T to those skills that are objective, that are gender neutral, that are rooted in operational effectiveness, those skills that we need our warfighters to be engaged with. And particularly as we have women and men who are downrange right now, who are engaged in hostilities with another country, we should be focusing on those actual operational measures. Are our warfighters doing the things we need them to do to meet our strategic objectives? Not do they have some arbitrary baseline number of testosterone?
And you know this as well as anyone, having completed multiple deployments in Iraq and Afghanistan as a fighter pilot, there's been all this speculation surrounding the secretary's approach to running the Defense Department. Some people say he's, creating an environment designed to push women out of the military, and this initiative is sort of piggybacking on that. Is that how you see this?
Well, it's what we're hearing from a lot of former service members, both men and women, that regardless of intent, the way things are being rolled out and executed does have a chilling effect, both on women who have served and sort of their identity and their purpose and whether or not they still belong as part of this, as well as future recruiting opportunities, right? It's very difficult right now for a lot of people, not just women, to look at the military and say, is this an institution I really want to be a part of? Is this a place where my skills will actually be valued? If we look across the military right now, brute strength is also not the only skill we need, especially as things like AI becomes a bigger part of the military. We need people who actually understand that, not just people who have brute strength. So there is a real concern as to what this is going to do to future recruiting, too.
It seems like a no freaking brainer, but not to him, I guess. Kyleanne Hunter, I'm so glad to have you on the show this morning, CEO of Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America and a Marine Corps veteran.